again, this is John, host of the Prepared Mind channel, with another The Problem With video. And in Shit It's the Fan, the problem with entitlement is going to make itself known in a big, big way. We have an entire culture infested with entitlement mentality. We have babies who are being born today. They're going to recognize and feel more entitled than even the millennials, which is the last group, right? The group that my children belong to. They've been told that all they have to do is want and someone will provide. Then there's my generation. Then there's my parents, the baby boomers. Probably the first major entitlement class that was told by the government that they'll be taken care of. Social Security, welfare, right? The Great Society. Entitlement is the belief that all you have to do is have the need and to vocalize and make that need known, and someone needs to satisfy you. Much like a baby that cries when it needs its mother's tit, and that tit is provided to shut it the hell up. But when shit hits the fan, right? The problem with entitlement is there is going to be no tit given to those whiny voices. And what is it that children do when they don't get their way? Well, they start by screaming and yelling. Then they throw themselves on the ground and throw a fit. They may hold their breath until they turn blue in the face and pass out. Some kids take their ball and go home. But when adults do it, when they don't get their way and they feel entitled, they feel like their privilege is so powerful that it's a right, they're going to go apeshit. Now, a lot of people believe that Americans are spoiled, and I agree, they are. Those who have earned it. Those who have not are entitled and believe they should have it. They've been spoiled by the welfare system. They've been spoiled by the legal system that gives them what they want. When shit hits the fan, they're going to scream and yell. And when they don't get their way, there is going to be mayhem. Tell me your opinions on this. I want to hear them. I want to read them. After all, it's you guys, the commenters, that help make this channel great. If it weren't for you, this channel would be nothing. It'd just me getting therapeutic benefit from all these discussions. Because they're without you, it's a one-way talk. I might as well be talking to the wall. But entitlement, this sense that everyone else owes you if you're one of the entitled. We can take a great look at people's behavior and see that when the entitled don't get their way, what do? In the example of welfare recipients, they look to the government to provide them with money so that they can get food and the things they need to live. When shit hits the fan, there's going to be no food for anybody to have unless you have prepared ahead of time. But this sense of entitlement creates anger and frustration and outrage and results in acting out, which means rioting and looting. We have examples of that in this nation. When people don't get what they want, they will riot and they do loot. And they destroy and they steal from others when they want and they're not being satisfied. When shit hits the fan, when the food trucks quit coming, when the water is turned off and the gas for heat is turned off, and the fuel isn't being delivered to the fuel stations, what do you think the people, the entitled masses, are going to do? Do you think they're going to lay down and die? No, they're going to get mad. They're going to throw a fit. They believe they're entitled, and if they don't have it, it's because somebody else does. When you see an entitled child, he wants a candy, right? He wants a lollipop, and he sees other kids that have lollipops, and so he throws a fit and believes he is entitled to one. When shit hits the fan, the entitled will see preppers as those that have, and they're going to demand that they have the same thing. And they're not willing ahead of time to do anything about it. But afterwards, hell yeah, they're going to come after you. The entitled masses, they're going to want, and they're going to look to you to satisfy them. And when they don't get what they want from you, just as they riot and loot at stores, they will riot in your presence. And they will try and loot you. And they'll feel wholly justified because they are entitled. Right? They are like children. They are psychologically stunted and they cannot see past their very banal, their very base existence. To put food in their mouth. Right? To snuggle up in a blanket. To be coddled and taken care of like children. I think that we as preppers need to avoid these fucking people altogether. And it doesn't matter their age, whether they're small children now, or whether they're the millennial generation, or whether they're Gen X, or whether they're the baby boomers. If they haven't seen what's going on in this world around them right now, and recognize the shit state we're in, then they aren't intelligent enough and therefore not deserving of life when shit hits the fan. That is the prepper mentality that we have to have. I said these videos are going to be hard, and I talk to you honestly and straightforward. The entitled masses, you do not want them around when shit hits the fan. You don't want them in the post-collapse environment. If they manage to survive through it, they're going to bring that welfare and entitlement mentality to a prepper community near you. You know, what is it with this entitlement community? It sounds very communist, does it not? Well, sure. To each according to their need, from each according to their ability. You, as a prepper, have an ability to think, to act, to plan, to improvise, to adapt, to overcome, as us Marines like to say. And if they can be a part of that, they're going to benefit off of your hard work. That's what they do now today. And that's what they will try to do when shit hits the fan. And just as they do today, whine and cry and snivel, they will try to eke out a living today with as little as effort as possible. They'll do the same thing when shit hits the fan. And when they don't get their way, just as they do today, they will riot and loot, and they will hurt others, and they'll blame them. See, the entitled masses have this mindset that it's someone else's fault. And so they do not accept responsibility for themselves. They are not accountable. They are not held accountable for their immaturity, their lack of intelligence. It's not hard to understand this or learn about it. But they're going to have an adult's ability, a physical ability to hurt others and take from them. They are destructive by nature, the entitlement crowd. Destructive. They march in their protests. They riot. They burn. They loot. They damage and destroy. They assault others. And they feel justified in doing it. It's a complete mindset that is copacetic with communism. Communists in Russia in 1818, 1819 used the disgruntled masses, right? People who felt they deserved better to rebel against the Tsar, the Kaiser, the King of Russia. Because they were entitled. They felt, because of communist propaganda, that they were entitled to more. Now, I can understand, just as I'm sure many of you can, that we're all entitled to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. But when that's taken and turned into you're entitled to live at someone else's cost, someone else's expense, that's where the problem comes in. And that is where we are at today. Even in America, this country is social fascist. Right? The government works with big corporations work with the government. That's fascism. And the people are given a little bit of socialism. They're given entitlements and told that they deserve, and they're given just a little bit. It's a very nasty arrangement. But that's all going to collapse. It cannot sustain itself because it is top heavy, both on the government side and on the entitled class side. So I would recommend to you that you understand what entitlement is. Look into it for yourself. And I haven't said this much lately, but don't believe everything I say. Test it. Test it for veracity. Test it to see if it applies in your world. Test it and think about it and see how it will apply in your particular envisioned shit it's the fan scenario. Will you be overrun by entitled hordes of idiots? I can hearken back to the story of the colonists who tried communism, and they all believed they were entitled to the efforts of others, and no one was responsible for themselves, and they practically killed themselves by eating all their food. Right? There was a race to get everything they could from everyone else, and that's what the entitled masses will do when shit hits the fan. It'll be a race to destroy themselves, and they'll take you with them if you allow it. I want to thank you for watching this video. I look forward to reading your comments. You know, the magic word for this video, if you've made it all the way through it, is shelter. Use the word shelter in your comments, and I'll know you've read all the way or watched all the way through it. But please subscribe, click like, give me the thumbs up if you like the content of my videos on my channel. What that does is it helps other people find me all the easier. You click thumbs up, helps people find these videos and this information. The more people that are prepping, hey, guess what? The fewer entitled morons will be out there to fuck with you when shit hits the fan. So also share this. Share this with friends and family and loved ones. Why? So that they start to learn and start to prep. I mean, shit could hit the fan tomorrow. We've got the prime rate going up with the Federal Reserve, I think, on Wednesday. And on the 19th, the Electoral College votes. Then we have Christmas and New Year's, and then we have the presidential inauguration. The powers that be, that don't like humanity, that want to control and dominate it, they could cause shit to hit the fan at any time. Terrorists could cause it to shit hit the fan. Or the unseen world, right? A meteor strike, a CME could hit, right? The sun could blast us and knock out our power grid and all our computers and send us instantly back to the Stone Ages with just these vestiges of civilization around us. That is definitely a shit hits the fan scenario, a coronal mass ejection. So I want to thank you for watching. Click subscribe, like, share, and pass the word. You know, chance favors the prepared mind. We're all responsible for ourselves. And the entitled masses, oof, we're going to have our hands full with them. So Godspeed to you. Semper Fi. And stay frosty.